Hey guys, it's cece. Welcome back to my corner of the universe where we talk about whatever I feel like talking about. And I realize it's been a long time, okay? It's been a year. Okay, I get it. I get it. I'm going to try and recommit to this as much as I can. And to make up for lost time, I got a big, beefy one today. Okay, I have my emotional support, Rilakuma, with me. And Bimo is also here. Bimo, you can't see Bimo because he's sitting next to me, but Bimo is also here. I came on here today to talk to you guys about one of my favorite canceled shows, of which there is a long list of this, unfortunately. But today I'm coming on here to talk about ABC Family's The Nine Lives of Chloe King. Apparently the first episode had more than 2 million viewers, and then by the end of the season viewership had dwindled so much that they barely had cracked a million on the finale. So because of low viewership retention, they canceled the show. I also have another reason why I think that show wasn't going to survive long, but you'll have to wait till the end to find out. That's what they do, right? They say a thing and then they make you wait 2 hours or however long this video is going to be to find out why I think the show actually got canceled. Not that once I tell you, you can probably come to your own conclusions because we're going to go through the whole show. It's going to be a fun time. Get a candle, watch this while you're doing chores or working on something, get some popcorn. It's a nice, cozy time. I actually lit a candle. My candle, it's black suede. I don't know if you can see that. Black suede. It smells so good. Anyway, The Nine Lives of Chloe King came out in the summer of 2011 and is based on a trilogy by author Liz Braswell. The show ends after a whopping 10 episodes, and then because it left off on such a cliffhanger, they decided to make a movie called The Nine Lives of Chloe King Salvation, but that also ended up getting scrapped. So there is a movie script that you can read. I'll link it down in the description. I will not be going over what goes on in that script. I skimmed through the whole thing. We're not going to get into that. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. This show is set in San Francisco and it follows a high school girl named Chloe King who finds out that she is a part of an ancient race called the Mai. She actually turns out to be a very important member of the Mai, but we'll get into that later. Let's just get into it, starting with episode 1, the pilot. So much. The very first scene that we get is of our main protagonist being pushed off a building and dying. The man who pushed her off of the building will henceforth be named as Scarface. We do not ever learn his name in the show. Immediately, we're taken 2 days back to earlier in the day on her 16th birthday. She's running out of the house, toast in hand, in veritable teen drama main protag fashion. This is our lead, Chloe King, who is a headstrong girl, sassy, determined, and notably not like other girls. We meet her mom, Meredith King, who stops her. It's a very cute scene, actually. They talk and chat about her life. And they do this really cute thing where one of them says, "I love you," and the other one goes, "Implied." After this, Chloe meets up with her two best friends, Amy and Paul. Amy is sweet, cheerful, selfish, and a tad naive. Also an op to be discussed at a later date. I will say one of Chloe's first lines to this girl is, "It's not about you, Amy." And this will come up a lot. Paul is nerdy and kind of clueless. He's our well-meaning airhead that's just happy to be here. I don't particularly have too much to say about Paul. He's cool. He's cool. They're, I think, at the San Francisco Bay. It's foggy, very much vibes. It's very cute. She tells them she wants things to be different. She's turning 16 and she hasn't had her first kiss. She wants danger. She wants intrigue. She wants romance. The whole 9 yards, basically, right? She expresses those feelings and they end up going to a club that night instead of getting dinner like they always do. They sneak inside and Chloe meets a boy named Xavier. He asks her to dance. They hit it off. They spend the whole night dancing and they end up leaving the club together. He asks her if he want to go back to his crib. She says no. And then she actually kisses him before taking off, and she goes off. She had her little night of romance. It's very cute, and you can see Scarface in the distance watching her from the background. And now our main protag has had her first kiss. Very realistic IMO. The first kiss doesn't always have to be this huge romantic. Sometimes You just dance the night away and you kiss a man. That doesn't mean I didn't have a good time just because I probably will never see that man again. Spoiler, she will never see that man again. The next day, Chloe is telling Amy about what happened at the club, that she met Xavier and all this stuff. And Alec, blonde, bitchy, and British, and our first main love interest in this show. He starts throwing a basketball over Chloe's head against the wall like a fucking psycho. Like, the things men do for attention, like, freaking get a life. And that's exactly what Chloe says. She takes the basketball, throws it like 500 feet down the hallway and into a trash can. Nothing but net. It was kind of shocking. She was honestly surprised that she was able to do that, but she kind of just leaves to class and doesn't think too much of it. After class, Alec stops Chloe in the hall. One thing about Alec, he has a very limited understanding of what the meaning of personal space is. He cabadons Chloe against the wall and immediately tries to hit on her. I want you to show me your moves, but I'm not talking about your basketball moves. Get out of here. Get out of here. And then he sniffs her. He smells her, then tries to kiss her. Now, I know this sounds bad, considering that Alec is my main guy. I have no defense for that. That's just weird and creepy, and I didn't like it. Thankfully, his cousin Jasmine calls out to him, and they leave Chloe stunned and uncomfortable. After school, Chloe starts her shift at this clothing store called Varice Vintage. This is a clothing store / coffee shop, so we will be spending all of our time here whenever we have a social outing. Think of it as the grill in TVD. Like, every time anybody wants to meet anybody somewhere, it's gonna be here. Okay. Shout out to our manager Lana. She's the only black girl on the show. Fed up with Chloe's shit, understandably. Anyway, Chloe comes in for her shift. She meets our second male love interest. His name is Brian. He's shopping for a hat, pulls out the ugliest hat I've ever seen in my life. Lana is subjected to some of the most awkward flirting I've also seen in my life. And it turns out that Brian is a college student and he took a semester off school to come back home and take care of some family business. Details to come later. Yes, this is a 19-year-old college-aged man flirting with a 16-year-old girl. But ABC Family, guys. Also, I'm a Brian hater from the day I was born. Honestly, I don't think anybody who watched the show liked Brian. Anyway, she parkours her way through the city home. Another use of these kind of weird powers. Now she's like parkouring and doing kicks and flips through the city like she never could before. The more 2010s content I consume, the more I realize like that was really the parkour era. Like, do you guys remember the movie Taylor Lautner did? Like the parkour movie Taylor Lautner did back then. When did that come out? Like 2013? I don't know. That was an insane pull. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, she ends up getting dinner. It's supposed to be her birthday dinner, so it's supposed to be with her, Amy, and Paul, but only Amy shows up. Apparently this was intentional because Amy told Paul not to come because Amy wanted to tell Chloe that her and Paul were dating. Now, I don't understand how that gives you permission to disinvite my best friend from coming to my birthday dinner. And it's my birthday dinner. Like, what? Like, if I want him here, like, bring him. Chloe tells Amy about her powers, essentially, that she's like been, doing kick flips off of roofs and like she's throwing basketballs down the hallway into a trash can, like abilities that she's never had before that she suddenly gained overnight. Amy doesn't believe her, continues to tell Chloe about this whole relationship thing with Paul. Chloe understandably is weirded out because whenever your friends start dating, especially your close friends, it gets weird real fast, honey. I call them pay me. So if at any point I talk about pay me, because they travel like one of these a lot of time. If I'm talking about pay me, I'm talking about Paul and Amy juntos. On her way home, she gets accosted by a guy and then her nails go all Wolverine and get really long and she scratches this guy across the face and like runs away. She is shaken and confused, and she runs home to be comforted by Mama Meredith. Shout out to her. They sit down and several important things are talked about in this conversation. The first is that Chloe's dad left over 10 years ago without a trace. They don't know if he's dead or alive. Her parents are actually her adoptive parents. So her dad found her at an orphanage while he was working abroad in Ukraine. It is unclear whether this was legal adoption or not. She doesn't know anything about her birth parents, and neither does her mom. After this, Chloe, she's lost. She's distraught. She just got told a bunch of this new information, and she doesn't really understand what's going on with her powers, her origins, or any of that stuff. The next scene, we're with Amy and Chloe at the vintage shop. Notoriously, Chloe is rightfully so, like, quite upset. Like, she's having kind of a difficult time, like, reconciling, like, what's going on with her. And she's trying to talk to Amy about it, and Amy is not listening. In fact, she steals Chloe's phone to call Xavier again after Chloe tells her not to, and just, like, throws the phone and just throws the phone back at Chloe for her to talk to him. Xavier is dead. So he does not pick up the phone. Brian shows up at the store, sees Chloe, and the first thing he says is, "How am I supposed to indulge in my quirky headwear fetish?" What's wrong with you? He asks her on a date. Amy quickly ditches Chloe after Chloe has expressed that she's like, "Oh no, I'm not like whenever your friend is like, if a man approaches your friend and your friend is like, and asks her on a date, and your friend is like, "Oh no, sorry, I'm busy, I'm doing something right now," and your friend abandons you and is like, "No, she's actually free, I'm going home right now," that's not your friend. That is not your friend. The date is boring, as is the man, but we do find out that Brian's mom is dead. And after Chloe's dad left all those years ago, she found one of his emails and sends him a message. She hasn't heard anything back, so she's just like, I don't know if this man's alive. Like, I don't know what's going on. Chloe is walking through the park on her way home, and this connects to our first scene when she is chased by Scarface and thrown off the bell tower. Now, I'm gonna let this one go because she's a cat, and I believe she might have that spidey sense for like danger. But for all intents and purposes, she is walking in the park, looks behind her, sees a black man, and starts running. If that is not racial profiling, I don't know what is, because she has not seen him before this. Kitty danger sense, so we're going to let that one rock. What we don't see in the first scene is that she gets back up after she's been pushed down. I feel like it's like 10 or 15 stories down a building, really, really high up. She's running and eventually runs into Jasmine and Alec, who catch her and are basically giving her the rundown of what's happening to her. Jasmine explains that they're Mai, an ancient sacred race that is descended from the Egyptian goddess Beset. They were once humanity's protectors, and according to Jasmine, they broke their sacred bond. But if you ask Alec, he believes that the Mai got fed up with taking orders from the humans. And so now the Mai are kind of like their own community. They've essentially been spying on her all day. Alec asks if the guy she met up with before was her boyfriend. Invasive and crazy, but also important because Mai and humans can't be physically intimate. It's kind of like Fruits Basket, but like way less fun. So if they kiss or have sex or do anything, basically the human can die. Like, they can get paralyzed, they can get sick, and they could lose their life. Brian might have got off scot-free, but Xavier wasn't so lucky. Chloe immediately takes off, maybe seemingly have called the police. They show up at Xavier's place, and he's being carried out. He's being carried out of his apartment in a body bag. So Chloe knows that she's essentially responsible for this death. Chloe, very distraught and upset, tries to leave. Alec and Jasmine are like trying to tell her like, no, it's important, you need to come with us. And she's like, no, I do not know you. I'm going home. I just got killed like an hour ago. I'm freaking out. And that gives them pause. And they refer to her as something called the Uniter, because apparently dying and getting back up again is not common amongst the Mai. Jasmine starts going on about a prophecy, and Chloe is too freaked out to even interact with this, so she takes off. Scarface meets up with a mysterious man and confirms that Chloe is the one that they thought she was, and this man essentially instructs Scarface to kill her as many times as possible to like make sure she's dead. Serious man talking to Scarface is actually Brian's dad. I will be referring to him as Reza from now on because that's his last name. His first name is Whitley, and I don't like that, so I'm just gonna call him Reza. After this, Amy bursts into Chloe's room lamenting the fact that Paul stood her up, and she's like, where were you? I needed you, yada yada. Chloe's like, I do not have the capacity for this right now. I can't do this. Okay, I'm having a hard time. And Amy's like, what could possibly be going on in your life? Someone get her. I swear to God, someone get her. She then actually gets Chloe tries to show Amy the wounds that she got from the fall, but they've healed already. So Amy's like, you're making stuff up once again. She then gets a call from Paul, who's been kidnapped by Scarface and is chained up in an empty warehouse. Amy and Chloe rush to the warehouse in the middle of the night to rescue him, and it should be noted that Amy drives a cherry red Volkswagen Bug that I wanted so badly when I was like 13 or 14. Like that was my like dream car. I was like, I'm gonna get my license and I'm going to get a Volkswagen Bug. It was dreams that were dashed. It never happened, but it was one of the only redeeming qualities that Amy had. And I was like, you suck, but you're a bad bitch for driving that Volkswagen Bug. You are. She goes in the warehouse. She fights with Scarface. Alec and Jasmine show up to help her. Scarface gets away, but not without injuring Jasmine first. She's not dead. She just gets a knife to the back, I think. We get a remix of Animal by Kesha. Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. Remember earlier I told you that Chloe sent her dad a few emails in the past? Well, he finally replied, and the message says, trust no one, dad. I'm hooked. Officially, I was at this point as an 11-year-old, I was gagged. We have Alec, the bad boy protector, okay? We have the girl with the 9 lives. We have the boy she just kissed for the first time and he's dead. And then we have a prophecy. Like this first episode was so good, and they actually did everything that they needed to do. Even rewatching it, it feels like it was paced really well. We get the love triangle out the gate. We have some pretty solid action sequences. I don't know if that's controversial, but for an ABC family show, I thought they were done pretty well. I didn't mind them. I like them. I think they did a great job of like setting up an overarching conflict while having some B plots as well, just in the first episode. I'm mad that they canceled the show, if you couldn't tell. Moving on to the next episode, episode 2, called Redemption. This episode starts with Chloe sending an email to her dad asking him to come back, but she doesn't tell anybody about it, not even her mom, despite the fact that this is like, oh shoot, your husband might be alive. Because it's one email, she doesn't even know it's him, so I get it. Fun fact, Amy has 2 dads. We will never meet them. Despite having her phone number, Brian decides to come to Chloe's job again to ask her on a date. Remember, she could actually kill him, so the date doesn't seem like a great idea, but she agrees anyway. Chloe is almost never working at her job. She is either flirting with Brian, talking to Amy, or conspiring with her kitty cat cousins, okay? Never working. Poor Lana. Chloe gets a call from Xavier's number, even though that man has already kicked rocks. She picks up, but whoever is on the phone doesn't say anything and hangs up. Amy calls back the number and threatens the unidentified individual. Fantastic idea, truly. Now, Chloe still blames herself for what happened to Xavier. Throughout the show, she does carry a lot of guilt because of it. And it does seem like she doesn't really truly ever go, like, kind of get over it. Because it is brought up, like, a few times, like, throughout the show, that, you know, Xavier is like the first guy she kissed and also killed. She talks to her mom about it and they decide to attend Xavier's funeral. Majority of this episode deals with a subplot with Xavier's older brother, Gabriel. He's the one who called her from Xavier's phone, and when she goes to the funeral, Chloe finds out that Gabriel's parents blame him for his death. So they're under the impression that Gabriel got Xavier involved in drugs and that's why he died, and they basically disown him. Now, they're not totally wrong because Gabriel actually has been supplying drug dealers with drugs from his job at a hospital. It's giving Dr. Langdon. Why are you stealing from your patients, sir? And also the fact that he was like Latin American and like dealing drugs was a little bit of like Little bit of an ick for me. Little bit of a, it's giving we're stereotyping vibes. These people, the drug dealers, come to the funeral to threaten him because he's trying to get out of it. And because Chloe feels responsible for Xavier's death, she decides to help Gabriel out with getting rid of these drug dealers. Essentially, they got this Latino man dealing drugs. They were like, he's a doctor, so it's like better because he's educated. No. Important takeaway from the storyline is that Chloe has the ability to empathize with people. At the funeral, the first time she sees Gabriel, she feels everything that he was feeling, and that's why she ended up getting involved with in the first place. Later in the episode, she says that sometimes she's even able to see people's thoughts. She calls Xavier's number and is able to reach Gabriel and tells him that she was the last person to see him alive. Crazy, incriminating yourself. They meet. She tries to convince Gabriel that it's not his fault, but the only reason Xavier was in SF to the first place was to help Gabriel get clean because he was also addicted to the painkillers. So he was addicted and also dealing drugs. Huge lore drop. Scarface is talking to Reza in his office during this episode, and he was in Xavier's apartment the night that he died. It's implied that he may have been the one to kill him and not Chloe, because remember, a kiss from the Mai can lead to death, but it doesn't always. Once again, a loose thread that like never gets tied up. I really wish we could have like delved into that more, but alas, canceled. Now, Reza and Scarface are a part of something called the Order, which is an organization that is responsible for hunting down the Mai. They seek to exterminate all of them. Now, Brian doesn't know about any of this, and he and his dad don't really have the best relationship. There's a scene with Reza and Brian boxing, and Brian suggests that they get to know each other better, kind of like that's part of the reason that he came home, was to connect with his father after his mom died. And Reza seems legitimately confused in a way of like, why would you want to do that? I have no respect for you. If you want my respect, you're gonna have to earn it. Brian also goes on a date with Chloe. We find out that his mom was actually murdered, and that's why he came back to town to find out who did it. When Chloe's talking, Brian says, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear a word you said. All I could think about was kissing you." Real winner here, this guy. He tries to kiss her. She stops him just in time. Get away from this, but stay away from him. Stay away from him. It's not even worth it. The forbidden love is not even giving what it's supposed to give. Whatever. Alec has been following them this whole time and sees this interaction. Romantic turmoil. Love to see it. He's actually been following Chloe this entire episode, like lurking outside of her house and all that jazz. Love to see it. I love the toxicity. What can you say? I love the overstepping boundaries. What can I say? I'm a little bit of a toxic girl. What can I say? Protecting her. Of course, he's protecting her. Back to Gabriel. He calls Chloe to thank her, and he says that he's going to meet up with the drug dealers one final time and put an end to it all. Now, this man shows up with nothing. No gun, no knife, no taser, just him and thoughts and prayers. Chloe tracks him down. She finds herself at yet another abandoned warehouse while Paul and Amy wait in the car. Alec is also there. As I said earlier, he's been stalking her the entire time. They go inside. Long story short, they defeat the drug dealers. The police are called and they shutter the whole operation. Alec tells Chloe for the third time that she needs to stop seeing Brian. The whole situation with Gabriel reminds her of what happened to Xavier. And when Brian calls her that night, she declines it. We're on the up and up. I love to see it. And you know what? Parents saying they know what's best for you is a lie. But why is Mama Meredith telling Chloe she should give Brian a chance? Why are you encouraging your freshly 16-year-old daughter to go on a date with a college-aged individual? Mama Meredith, girl, I love you, but what's going on? Thanks to Mom's stellar advice, Chloe ends up calling Brian back while Alec lurks on the roof like a real love interest should, honestly. Next, episode 3, titled Green Star. This episode opens with Alec breaking into Chloe's bedroom. Love to see it. He's there to flirt obviously, and invite her to meet Valentina, who is the leader of the Pride in San Francisco. Prides are what they call like collections of Mai in different cities. And the leader of their Pride is Valentina, who also happens to be Jasmine's mother. Her mom catches them together. Needless to say, I loved the scene. It was very Wattpad, very Bad Boy Next Door, very like, oh, I miss the 2010s. I miss them so bad. Alec and Jasmine take Chloe to meet Valentina at Jasmine's apartment. I feel like if you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my notes. Alec and Jasmine take Chloe to meet Valentina at Jasmine's apartment, henceforth known as the Pride Penthouse. This is what I will be calling it. One thing about Valentina, you don't want to mess with her. She killed almost 15 members of the order with her bare hands. Okay, this is a woman who don't play about her and her mission. She is deeply dedicated to her goal, which is to locate and protect Mai, who are scattered across the world. That's actually how she found Alec. We find out from Valentina that his parents were murdered, and she took him in after they died. I like Valentina, but she definitely has her own agendas. Like, very cold, very calculating, but you can tell she does it because she cares. Like a little bit toxic, but very like, I'm in charge, like do what I say kind of vibes, which I'm very into. She sits Chloe down and tells her about the prophecy of the Uniter, which is 9 lives to live and 9 lives to endure, 9 lives to accomplish much, but each life more complicated than the last, and each death more painful than the one before. It is the Uniter's duty to bring humans and the Mai back together, but the journey is meant to be long and painful. She tells Chloe that the Pride is currently tracking down the assassin that's after her, Scarface, and if they can't find him, they'll basically put her in witness protection and hide her away. And when Chloe objects to this, Valentina says, your life is no longer your own. Okay, you're the Uniter. You belong to us. You can imagine Chloe is very much not with that. Now, Scarface has been following Chloe all episode trying to get her alone so he has not been working out. He accidentally bumps into Mama Meredith and takes her phone. He then calls Chloe from her mom's phone, threatens her. I'm not gonna lie, that's terrifying. Like calling from her mom's phone and being like, yeah, I'm with your mom. So if you 1 + 1 = 2. Where do you want to meet up? Right? So after he calls her, Chloe goes to Valentina and they set up a search party to track them down. 2 important things. Valentina is wearing this broad-shouldered leather hoodie jacket situation. It may not be for everybody, but I think she was low-key killing it. Second thing, Chloe asks Alec to watch her mom and protect her instead of going with everyone else while she stays at the apartment with Jasmine. So Alec is with his mom, is watching over her mom at the house. She's staying with Jasmine at the Pride penthouse, and everybody else is going to look for Scarface. While Jasmine and Chloe are stuck inside, they become closer, and I actually really enjoy this scene because I love their friendship. Like, Jasmine is much more grounded and caring, and I think Chloe needs someone like that in her life who like actually listens but is like very much in touch with reality, because sometimes Chloe does struggle with that. They're both able to share their hardships with each other and be there for one another. For example, Jasmine tells Chloe that her and her mom are not actually particularly close. Her mom has really high expectations for her and is really hard on Jasmine because of them. Meanwhile, Amy is trying to kick off her career as a small town girl turned pop star after Chloe encourages her to participate in an open mic night that they're having at the coffee shop next to Vintage Vintage, whatever it's called. Chloe can't go because she's in lockdown, but it's okay because Scarface decides to attend in her stead. After Scarface threatens Pamey, Chloe decides to meet him alone. She has Brian drop her off at the meeting place, and we are now 3 for 3 in terms of climactic conflicts occurring at an abandoned warehouse. I'm actually going to have to keep track because I'm pretty sure this happens nearly every episode. Something to address in regards to Brian in this episode: after showing up to Chloe's job for the 50th time, in the span of 3 episodes, mind you, he invites her to a music festival. She later turns him down and tells him that she just wants to be friends due to conversations with Valentina and realizing she can never be normal. Yada freaking yeah. This is going to kick off our how many times will Brian get rejected by a teenage girl counter. And we're going to start with a 1. We're going to ding. up there. And on top of that, he is now taking her to the sketchiest place that he's probably ever seen in his life. And he has no questions. Mind you, he knows that she doesn't live there. So it's not like he's just like, oh, this is a sketchy neighborhood. Like, this is where you live. Like, no, he knows she does not live here. And he is dropping her off at a nondescript location in an abandoned warehouse district with no questions. There is nothing around here. There's no shops. There are no stores. Nothing. Is always the middle of the night. Nope. Anyway, Chloe goes inside and Scarface immediately chains her up and intends to leave her to drown until she loses the rest of her 8 lives. Drowning 8 times? That has to be the worst way to go. It has to be. Like, there's no... I'm so sorry. That shit is so fucking scary. And he's diabolical for that. But you know what? It's efficient and I understand. Thankfully, Jasmine comes to save her. They fight. The two of them are on the back foot. And then at the end of the fight, Valentina comes up behind Scarface and kills him. One thing I will say is I wish we got more of Scarface. I would have liked to see... I already know he has a compelling villain origin story because all villains with scars do. I feel like I would have liked more from him than being Reza's attack dog. Like, you got this black man doing his white man's dirty work. Like, cut it out. Absolutely cut it out. Anyway, goodbye, Scarface. It's been real. Anyway, Brian comes back because Chloe forgot her phone in his car, ends up taking her home. Alec is at her house when she gets there because remember, he's watching over Mama Meredith. She's surprised that he's still there looking after her mom, and he says, "Of course I am. You asked me to." That's a real man right there. Yes. If this is what Brian has to compete with, I fear he's already lost. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Next is episode 4, titled All Apologies. This episode starts with Chloe trying to get a handle on her new powers, super hearing, agility, and the like. She begins to train with Jasmine and Alec every single night. She's also hoping to learn to control her empath abilities. She expresses this interest to Jasmine, but Jasmine tells her that she's never heard of anybody having powers like this. This episode mainly revolves around a minor character. This minor character this time is Lana, my girl. She's having a terrible time, and not a lot of people are helping to make it better. In fact, a lot of people are helping to make it worse. We finally learn her name in this episode. It's Lana. Chloe, one day at work, accidentally empathizes with her while she's on shift, and she can sense that Lana is terrified. Like, she looks completely normal on the outside, but she can sense like her inner feelings and her inner thoughts, and she's scared out of her mind. Now, after learning this, a guy stops by the store while Lana's gone, and he tells Chloe that he's looking for Lana, and Chloe... She's 16, but Jesus fucking Christ. Did Meredith never teach you about stranger danger? Because Chloe gives this guy Lana's home address and she doesn't even know this man's name. I think he shows up with a gift or something like that. I didn't write that down, but I think he shows up with like a gift or a delivery or package or something. And he's like, I need to give it directly to her. And mind you, he could leave it at the store. So I think we all know where this is going. Chloe shakes his hand and suddenly she's overcome with this feeling of anger and she like immediately like shoves him. Like she shoves him hard and he like goes flying, I think, into some of the clothes racks or something like that. And she later tells Valentina that she actually might have tried to kill him because of like the level of anger that she was feeling off of the empathetic bond she developed from him in that moment. Later, when Chloe is talking to Valentina tells her that she's an empath and that legend states that all Mai were once capable of this ability to facilitate their bonds with humans, but it seems that only the Uniter has this ability now. She suggests limiting her contact with humans, point blank period. She's like, you don't need to be around them anyway. Chloe's like, I have school. Since it only works on them and not other Mai, she's pretty unhappy with Chloe's decision to live a normal life, and she will continue to make that clear. The guy who stopped by the store was Lana's ex-boyfriend, Jesse, and he's also the reason Lana moved in the first place. She finds out Chloe gave him her address and she fires her. Rightfully freaking so, because what do you think you're doing giving my address to random strangers you've never met before? Like, that's the single worst thing you could have done. This is how women lose their lives very often, very frequently. Jesse trashes the store, and now Chloe is officially worried. He threatens Chloe to stay out of his non-existent relationship with Lana, and concerned for her safety, Chloe goes to check on Lana at her apartment, only to find that Jesse's already there and ready to hit her over the head with a bar stool. But together, she and Lana are able to take him down and subdue him. The police are called, and Lana gives Chloe her job back. During this episode, notably, Chloe's and Amy's friendship is also not doing so great. With her new ability, she's been training a lot, spending more time with Jasmine and Alec, and Amy is feeling notably jealous, which, I mean, understandable. They've been hanging out their entire lives all day, every day, especially when you're like, when you have school friends, it's like, if I don't see you every day, like, are we even really friends? You know? To be young again. I'm joking. Don't try and guess how old I am. Don't do it. I'm sad too, bitch. Chloe overhears Amy say to Paul that she's in the market for a new best friend because Chloe's been blowing her off. Okay. Never mind the consistent attempts on her life every other day. In fact, Jasmine reveals to her that Scarface wasn't the only person after her. They found out that the Order is actively working in San Francisco and still looking for her. So her life is still very much in danger. Because of the situation with Lana, she's late for dinner with Pamey, and this apparently is the last straw. Amy storms off because Chloe's been flaky and because she used her super hearing to listen in on her conversation with Paul, which fair, because she definitely did that deliberately, and then you're just listening in on other people's like private conversations, and that's like also not super okay. And trust me, I get it. Like, flaky people suck. Like, truly flaky people are the worst. I hate it. But my issue with Amy is that she will brush off Chloe's problems so quickly, i.e. the numerous death scenarios that have happened, and it is only episode 4, all while being upset that Chloe's spending her time with people that aren't her and Paul in order to deal with said problems. There's a point in this episode where Chloe tells Pamey about Jesse trashing the store, and Amy says verbatim, maybe you can get Jasmine and Alec to make it all better, or something along those lines. Chloe goes off on her a bit, rightfully so, because the situation is in fact very serious. She tells her that she's been legitimately fighting to stay alive every day, hence the training, and Amy can't accept that things have changed. You might look up one day and you'll see a black and white picture of me framed by roses, bitch. It might be over. Amy does end up apologizing though, and they make up by the end of the episode. With regards to Brian, he's still doing some digging on his mother's death. He tells Chloe that he anonymously received a safety deposit key with a note that says, do you really know what happened to your mother? With regards to the Order, Valentina does some reconnaissance and listens to Reza while he meets with a redhead named Simone, a member of the Order and Reza's occasional bed partner, apparently. Order is disappointed with his attempts so far and decided that they'll be taking it from there. The end of the episode, Valentina shows up at Reza's house, threatens him and Brian, and warns him to stay away from Chloe. That concludes episode 4. Not my favorite episode just because of all the manipulation and gaslighting that's going on. Meanwhile, Lana's literally fighting for her freaking life. We will move on to episode 5, titled A Girls' Night Out. Now, I mentioned before, naturally, that the San Francisco Pride is not the only pride out there. In this episode, we're introduced to 2 characters from the Sao Paulo Pride in Brazil, Lila and Nikki. Now, Lila and Nikki are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to take the Uniter back with them to Brazil. They breeze into town, all charmed, looking good, ready to party. And Chloe's naturally intrigued because they're the first Mai that she's met that, aren't from San Francisco. They invite Chloe to go dancing. Lila and Nikki even send her a dress to her house for the night. Mind you, why do you know where I live? It's getting creepy, but it's fine. We move. The dress is cute. We go. Jasmine and Amy also end up coming along. Very hence girls' night out. Jasmine is already suspicious because usually it's customary for when Mai visit a pride that they're not a part of to introduce themselves to the leader of the pride, but they didn't do that. They just kind of came in here and started doing stuff. While they're at the club, Lila and Nikki encourage Chloe to get primal, which means murder, I guess, because Nikki sneaks off with a guy in the bathroom and starts making out with him hardcore, and like he dies, and she's like, having the time of my life. This episode mainly touches on the different values my prides have. Valentina doesn't like associating with humans, but she definitely doesn't believe in killing for sport. Apparently, the Sao Paulo Pride has been getting more and more bold over the years, and the emergence of the Uniter, they saw an opportunity. They wanted to get Chloe on their side. Lila and Nikki, believing Chloe to be naive and impressionable, try to convince her to go back with them. Does not go well. As Chloe continues to hang out with these two, they tell her that they'll teach her to embrace who she is, which I would like to reiterate, that means murder. Okay, that means murder, casual murder. Chloe eventually sees Nikki is about to kiss this random guy when they're out one night, and she splits them up by throwing a bottle across the room between them. She's kind of over the whole thing. However, due to her reaction, Lila and Nikki think that Chloe can't possibly be the Uniter for some reason and decide to make sure. They're like, we're gonna double check by trying to kill you. To be honest, they probably could have just been like, hey, do you want a free trip to Brazil? If you were just like, hey, do you want a free trip to Brazil? You can just come visit and we'll show you the pride and all this stuff. You can even bring your friends. And then boom, when she lands in Brazil, that's when you get her ass. Don't like, you're over here visiting. You don't even have back. Like, okay, the plan sucks. Chloe's supposed to meet Brian for a farewell dinner because his dad is making him go back to university. And when she shows up, Lila and Nikki are already there. The threat is clear. When she sees them, she elects to break things off with Brian for good again and to keep him safe since he's leaving anyway. When she does it, what she doesn't know is that Brian convinced his dad to let him stay for another 3 months, and she rejects him before he even has the chance to tell her. This is rejection number 2 for the college-aged man trying to date the high schooler. Believe it or not, this is not the last time. Are you not embarrassed yet? Having an on again, off again relationship with a 16-year-old girl is weird. It's weird. Stop. Chloe and Jasmine are running from Lila and Nikki as they try to kill her or take her by force. We get into our weekly warehouse cat fight because what is an episode of Chloe King without an abandoned warehouse? During the fight, Nikki hits a fuse box with a metal pipe, electrocutes herself, and dies. Not a huge loss at the end of the day. You get what you give, I suppose. But Lila runs off, says, you'll pay for this, and disappears into the night. During this, there's a secondary plot line with Pay Me, but I'm not going to talk about it because frankly, I don't care. All you really need to know is that it ends with Paul lying in Amy's bed, uninvited, unprompted, naked, with a box of condoms. Needless to say, they broke up. Notably, Chloe finally gets a response from her dad, who tells her that he can't come home because it's not safe. He does not elaborate. He sends another email with a riddle that says, Hannah Hannity held on tight as the red and gold cable car started its flight. Chloe asks Mama Meredith if she's heard this riddle, and we find out that it's from the stories that she used to make up with her dad when she was younger. That's so cute. He sends her this he sent this riddle to verify his identity, essentially. At the end, her mom finds the handmade book about Hannah Hannity and gives it to Chloe, who then emails her dad another line from the story, and we wait once again. Adding to the Brian murder mystery B plot regarding his mother, Brian looks through his dad's stuff, finds something written on the back of a picture his dad had of his mom on his desk that says 1975 CP Kelly. Reza also sees him discover this because he's watching him on the CCTV because he has cameras all through the house. Of course. You know what else? Bet you can't guess. Yes, you're correct. It only happened for the 16th time. Brian and Chloe are back on. So exciting. So great. Next episode 6, is titled Nothing Compares to You. Now that Pammy is no more, Amy is looking for a new boy. She gets a new boyfriend. Amy gets a new boyfriend because she's obsessed with Chloe and what she's got going on. She's looking for danger. She wants excitement, adventure, intrigue. None of these things which have ever been Amy's vibe, but you know, we move. Naturally, this means she starts dating a gambler. Yes, a high school gambler. Arguably the worst kind of dangerous guy you could be with. Most of the time, this is just a guy with a lot of debt. There's plenty of other dudes out there that you can find that have plenty of debt who are probably way more interesting and way more cool than this guy. But I digress. Being a high schooler with gambling debt, yeah, go off, queen. That's your man. I don't know, get with the loner bad boy who changed school so many times that this is the last school that would take him. There's rumors about him. He's mysterious. Nobody talks to him because he started a fire at his last school and that was the final straw. Like, come on. Like, give me a real bad boy, Amy. Get you a man that could at least fight. She's with the nerdy guy who's good at cards. Girl, if things go down, you're on your own. That man is not gonna back you up. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the guy's name is Jonah. Paul tells Chloe after he's been low-key stalking the guy because he's like super sketchy. They track him to an underground gambling den in Chinatown. Crazy. Because he's super smart, he's supposedly really good at cards. They get spotted by one of the guys outside who attacks them, but they escape. She tells Amy, come to find out, Amy already knows. He's doing it to pay for college at MIT, which, okay, we all can't have conventional avenues to wealth. I get it, okay? To take it a step further, she defends the guys at the underground gambling den that attacked Paul and Chloe because they were trespassing on private property. Mind you, running an underground gambling den is also extremely illegal. Amy, what are we talking about? I can't. An underground gambling den, where they routinely do crime. I'm serious when I say that Amy is not your friend, Chloe. Chloe tries to warn her, but Amy is just yearning for the danger. While this is going on, our love triangle briefly becomes a trapezoid. Chloe sees Alec is about to kiss a girl while they're at school and reflexively shoves her away, thinking that she's human. Right. Because that's the only reason. Right. Alec says, what did you think? I was like, you? She's mine. Her name is Mimi. She's chill. They just hang out. Their relationship isn't really anything serious, but it's pretty evident that Alec is trying to make Chloe jealous, but it doesn't work because she's so goo-goo-eyed over Brian. Ugh. Speaking of Brian, he invites Chloe to his father's art exhibition. Theoretically, this would be where Chloe and Reza meet face to face for the first time. I'm sure he'd love to know that his son is dating the Uniter, but they do the K-drama thing where they're like at the same place all night and even have a conversation but never look each other in the face. Notably, Simone the redhead is also at the exhibition and she does see Chloe, so keep that tidbit in mind. Alec is on the neighboring roof watching over Chloe, sulking even though she explicitly told him not to follow her. He's joined by Mimi, who has to watch him stare at Chloe all episode like a lost puppy. They end up making out. It's whatever. While Chloe is at the exhibition, because Amy is craving danger, she goes to the gambling den with Noah. Great idea. She also doesn't tell anyone. Great idea. Jonah gets caught cheating. Amy calls Chloe while she's trying to escape, but she gets caught. Once again, I told you, if things go down, girl, you're on your own. That man is not helping you. Chloe leaves the exhibition to save her, so we are now 6 for 6 for warehouse showdowns. Pammy gets back together. All is well. Brian comes by Chloe's house after the event and asks her to take a walk in the middle of the night. He tells her he's in love with her and tries to kiss her. Again, she pushes him and rejects him. Again, she means it this time. No, she doesn't. Additionally, before the humiliating rejection, Brian shows Chloe the 1975 C.P. Kelly photo, and this will be important later, but that is all for episode 6. The next episode is episode 7, titled Dogs of War. This episode, we are treated to the appearance of Colton Haynes, famous bestie of the Serena Williams. Shout out to her before she started taking Ozempic. That's society's fault, though. We could talk about it, but we're not going to. But I'm like, after years and years of dogging this woman about her weight and how she looks like a man when she's literally one of like the best athletes in the world, I'm not surprised by it. It does make me very sad though, but I'll never be a hater. I'll never be a true hater, but seeing all those Serena Williams GLP-1 like weight loss ads, it makes me so sad. But all the celebrities are on Ozempic, so she ain't the only one. Colton Haynes, famous bestie of the Serena Williams and known Kanema. And he's kind of wandering aimlessly around Chloe's workplace. He's a little grunged up. So obviously he's being profiled because homeless people are not allowed to exist in public spaces ever. Jasmine and Alex show up and immediately run him down. Thankfully, he gets away. He's a hybrid just like they are, but he's a jackal descended from the god Anubis Sabuna. According to Alec, jackals are, quote, easily the most filthy, disgusting race on the planet. Like Jesus. When I heard that, I was gobsmacked. Oh, so they're gonna do the racism real upfront, like they're gonna use Jasmine and Jace as the I probably have cut out the numerous times that I have called Alec Jace by accident, because in my head, Alec Lightwood, black hair, blue eyes, Jace Lightwood / Herondale / Carstairs, blonde, brown eyes. Mind you, Mortal Instruments has nothing to do with this, but it is becoming a habit and it needs to be nipped in the bud. So Chloe, understandably weirded out by this behavior, decides to help Kai. That's Colton Haynes' name. His name is Kai. Because he just came here looking for his family, knowing that he was risking his life. He grew up terrified of the Mai, and since they have a tendency to hunt his people down, he knew that he might die, essentially. So Chloe brings him home and lets him stay with her until she can get him to his family. Also, she uses her empath abilities on him, so it seems like it doesn't exclusively work on humans. It can also work on like other supernatural creatures. She informs Valentina that she will be taking Kai home. Valentina agrees, but only if she takes Jasmine and Alec with her. Side note, while all this is going on, Amy finally figures out that Alec has feelings for Chloe after she tells him that Chloe and Brian broke up, and Alec practically starts jumping for joy. I mean, this man, he's over the moon. She spends most of her screen time this episode trying to get her to go out with Alec. Forensically, I'm against it. Shippingly, I'm behind you, Amy. I'm with you, girl. So the three of them, Jasmine, Alec, and Chloe, along with Pammy for some reason, travel with Kai to protect him on the way home. Valentina has a sneaky plan. Okay, Jasmine and Alec are supposed to inform her of the location so she can send more Pride members so they can kill all the jackals. What? Like, where is this? Once again, since the show was never finished, I cannot definitively tell you guys where the hell this is coming from. But I do know there cannot possibly be a reasonable explanation for this. They arrive. We see Alex secretly on his phone. Traitor. Seems like Valentina wasn't the only one plotting behind the scenes, because the whole thing is a trap. The jackals are clearly tired of being hunted down by the Mai and decide to use this opportunity to kill them and the Uniter. In a previous episode, the one with Lila and Nikki, Chloe asked Jasmine, how can Lila and Nikki hate all humans? That's ridiculous. Jasmine says, the Mai have been hunted and killed for thousands of years. Sometimes it's hard not to hate the people who hate you. Girl, the call is coming from inside the house. Please reflect. So they arrive at the location. They're in the sewers or something. It's like an abandoned rail terminal. Not an abandoned warehouse, but close. And after luring them far enough in, the jackals appear, including Kai's dad. Kai had no clue about this. Thank God Alec texted Valentina, except he didn't. He didn't, because he's real. It's feet, it's fists, it's claws, it's teeth, it's all of that. They're fighting. Full disclosure, Alec does get beat down bad. The jackals capture Chloe. They aim to kill her because they believe that the Uniter would mean their extinction. Like, essentially, if the Uniter completes the prophecy, that the Mai would be more powerful than ever, and then what chance do the jackals have, right? Kai turns on his dad at this point to defend Chloe since she helped him, and Chloe uses opportunity to escape, and she actually has the opportunity to kill Kai's dad, but she does not. Instead, they all escape. Chloe and Alec have a moment. Her heart may be wavering. I love to see that. Get that man Brian the fuck out of here. Jasmine takes the fall for Alec when Valentina inquires about the whole situation because she's used to her mother's disappointment. That is very sad. During this episode, Chloe meets Frank, Mama Meredith's new boyfriend. Chloe doesn't have any problems with Frank. In fact, she's really happy for her mom. Love that. This does, however, get them talking about her dad and reminiscing about things. Mama Meredith builds up the courage to tell Chloe that she's actually thinking of filing a petition to declare death in absentia since he's been gone for so long, and they have no proof that he's alive, except Chloe does have proof that he's alive. She does not tell her mom this, even after the whole Hannah Hannity proof of identity situation. Instead, she goes outside where she sees Alec. He grabs her and says, "We belong together." And he kisses her. And she kisses him back. No intro, no nothing. Just a raw declaration of love. Like, like that's what we're here for. Like, you expect me to cheer for bitch ass Brian when this is how we get down? It's so good. And that's how the episode ends. Oh, love it. So that concludes episode 7, and we're going into episode 8, titled Heartbreaker. Now, Chloe and Alec making out on her porch. Brian shows up mid-smooch. College-age man comes to high school girl's house in the middle of the night, sees her getting kissed by another boy of appropriate age. Man is distraught. In trying to explain herself, Brian and Alec end up both feeling hurt because she kisses Alec and then goes to Brian, "No, it's not what it looks like." And then Alec's like, "It's not what it looks like." And she's like, "Well." She ends up moping by the bay. And remember the 1975 CP Kelly photo. She ends up seeing a building with the name Corbin P. Kelly. Before she can investigate, she hears someone getting robbed. The main plot for this episode revolves around these 2 minor characters that she meets in this alley.
Hey guys, this is Editing cece here. I described the whole plot for this episode, but it's not really that important. All you need to know is that Chloe witnessed a crime and it required her to go to the police station with her mom, and the criminals come to her house at the end of the episode, which I will talk about later in the video, but just so you have context. Okay, bye.
She goes to school the next day where she sees Alex surrounded by a group of girls flirting, truly doing anything to get Chloe's attention. It's very mature behavior. Chloe tries to have a conversation with him, but he's somehow determined not to listen. He also makes it seem like because he protects her and he saved her life that she owes him her feelings, which, no, that's actually not how that works. If you think it couldn't get any worse, the next time Brian sees her, slut implications were made. Imagine why this man is not my favorite person in the world. She shows up with somebody. I didn't write it down, so I guess it was not important. She shows up with somebody and he says, "Someone else who's just your friend? I'm not sure you know what that means." Implying that she's just friends with a lot of people. Mind you, she's rejected him 3 separate times before this. Ugh, he's so gross. Anyway, she tries to talk to him. He shuts her down pretty quickly, but she does manage to tell him about the CP Kelly building. Day couldn't get worse, except she has to go to the police station after school because she got caught with a bag of stolen jewelry. So her and Mama Meredith go to the police station, and actually on the way there, Chloe tells her to declare Dad dearly departed. He hasn't been replying to her emails, and she's becoming more and more suspicious of the situation as it goes on. When they get to the police station to debrief about the incident, the officer they talk to thinks that Chloe is doing drugs. Which is great because now those thoughts have been put in Mama Meredith's head. Ever since Chloe found out she was Mai, she has been staying out later, lying about what she's doing, where she is, and now this whole thing with the jewelry, right? So her mom's been suspicious of her behavior for a while, but now it's getting concerning. She goes through Chloe's computer, finds the emails between her and her dad, and they have a huge fight, obviously, because Chloe didn't tell her and was ready to declare the man dead and deceased. Because of all this tension with Mama Meredith, Chloe considers telling her everything, but Alex tells her that he tried to do the same thing after he was adopted by a human as a child after his parents were murdered, and it did not end well. He basically warns her that if she plans on telling her mom, there's no going back. You're in this. Chloe goes back to the station to positively identify the people she saw in the alley. When she does this, she empathizes with the cop and sees him get into the car with the 2 thieves we saw fleeing the scene at the beginning of the episode. So they're in cahoots together. Essentially, Chloe knows too much and she ruined their plans, so they essentially plan to take her out. The 3 of them break into her house, chloroform Mama Meredith, and attack Chloe. She takes down 2 of them easily enough, but goes into the closet with her where her mom is to protect her. Alec comes to the rescue and takes the 3rd guy out, and all is well. Chloe is grateful and asks if they can start over. She cares about him, but she's not ready to jump into a relationship with him essentially after the whole thing with Brian. Chloe decides that she's not going to tell her mom anything, but they make up. Mama Meredith emails dad and she will not get a response. Brian thanks Chloe for the Kelly building info. He went there and the storage key he had opened a unit where he found his mom's engagement ring, even though it was reported missing. They decide to be friends again, and Chloe is going to be co-sleuthing with him on this investigation about his mom. When he goes to the storage locker at the Corbin P. Kelly building, the guy at the front desk that he checks in with picks up the phone, calls someone, and says he's here. So he's being monitored while he's discovering all this information. That is the end of episode 8. The 9th episode is titled Responsible. Mama Meredith's boyfriend, Frank, has a daughter named Vanessa, who I believe is a couple years young, probably like a high school freshman, something like that. And Jasmine has a new boyfriend, Amai from the New York Pride named Zane, also Isaac from Teen Wolf. Literally, we are 2 characters away from a cast reunion. I don't know why everyone on Teen Wolf is on the show, but I'm kind of living for it. Much like previous episodes, this has a subplot with a minor character, and it revolves around Vanessa and her shady, much older boyfriend. Chloe and Mama Meredith meet Frank and Vanessa for dinner, and Vanessa, she's a teenager, so she's like standoffish or whatever, but then her and Chloe get to talking and she asks her for advice on boys. Unfortunately, she takes what Chloe says and decides that means she wants to run away from home to meet, yes, the stranger from the internet who is a 27-year-old man. So she's gone. They have no idea where she is. Luckily, Chloe's able to track her down and try and convince her to come home. But Vanessa wants to run away with Cody, the 27-year-old dinosaur man. They're supposed to leave on a cruise that same night. Spoiler, it's not a cruise, okay? The man is trying to traffic her and she ends up getting locked up in a crate in a shipyard. I remember back in the 2010s, there was a lot of media about like stranger danger, online safety, like using the internet in a way that's safe. And honestly, I think with the frequency that we see a lot of these kids using the internet and not knowing what safe internet practices are. If you guys remember that movie that came out, I think it's the same year that it came out as this show called Cyberbully. Well, it's like, yeah, be careful what you say online and all that fun stuff. And so there used to be there's a lot of shows or like movies would do like episodes about like internet safety and all that stuff. So I'm kind of into it, but also it gives me icky vibes just to see what's happening to this poor girl because she liked a guy she found online. Meanwhile, Alec is trying his best to woo Chloe. He leaves roses in her bed. Oh my gosh, I'm not wearing my glasses. I have my glasses on now because for some reason I forgot to put them back on. Alec is trying his best to woo Chloe. He leaves her roses in her bedroom, just breaking in unsolicited, as one does. He's also helping Chloe out with finding Vanessa. He follows her when she finds Vanessa and finds out that Cody is indeed a human trafficker. They're able to suss out the location, and when Alec comes to get Chloe at her job to go after Vanessa, Brian, this is why I hate this man, Brian starts a fight with Alec genuinely for no reason. And once again, you are a college-aged man starting a fight with a high schooler. He punches the high school boy. Thankfully, Chloe tells him to get lost because what are you doing? And they go rescue Vanessa. The fight scene is very much giving power couple, like Alec and Chloe together beating ass. I love it. They kiss. I love it. Notably, there is a new stalker on the scene taking pictures of Chloe. The squad remains unaware, but we, the audience, find out that this person is in fact Zane, Jasmine's new boyfriend, who is a spy for the Order, right? Remember that he's mine. He meets up with Simone to give her the pictures, and she shows the pictures to Reza, but excludes the ones that were taken of Brian and Chloe together. She's keeping it a secret, essentially, that Chloe and Brian know each other. Speaking of Reza, he He says in this episode that he wants to get revenge against the Mai for what they did to his family. This will remain a mystery for the duration of the show. We will never find out. So sad. Regarding Brian, he makes some strides in the mommy murder mystery. He finds some quite recently dated letters from his grandmother on his mom's side, even though his dad told him that she died when he was 4. Just lying to this boy. He and Chloe plan to go visit the address on the letters, hoping to find some answers. Oh, and he apologizes to Chloe for punching Alec in the face. You stalking Chloe all types of ways, always showing up at her house and at work, but you can't find Alec and apologize to him in the face? Low vibrational man. Low value. Isn't that what they say? Beta. This is why he has no maidens. That concludes episode 9, and we are now getting into the finale of the 9 Lives of Chloe King with episode 10, titled
A Beautiful Day.
It starts with a carnival. The guys and the gals are on a triple date: Jazz and Zane, Paul and Amy, and Chloe and Alec. Both Amy and I are thriving because Chloe and Alec are a dream come true. This is the one time we agree. This is the one time I'll let her have it. It's generally very adorable though. They're, playing carnival games and shit like that. It's very cute. Zane steps away at some point to plot with Simone. Apparently they have a plan to eliminate the Uniter by the end of the night. The stakes are already through the roof. The next day, Chloe and Brian are en route to his grandmother's address when Chloe receives a text from her dad saying that he's in SF and he wants to meet her tonight. Zane finally meets Valentina because I suppose he's been here and hasn't formally introduced himself yet. Which was a red flag to Jasmine when it came to the girls from Sao Paulo, but you're like actively dating a guy and he has not. Well, I guess it's like also like meeting your mom. Yeah, that's weird. I'm gonna give her a pass on that one because that's weird. That's weird for sure. The San Francisco Pride don't know where Chloe went. Like when she left with Brian, she didn't tell anyone where she was going, so now she's just like missing. Zane texts this to Simone, and in the following scene, she tells Reza that the Uniter's protectors will be eliminated tonight. So they pull up to the grandma house. Her name, I believe, is Olivia Reza, so I'll just call her Grandma Olivia. Grandma Olivia is just living out there by herself. We find out that Reza told Grandma Olivia that he never wanted to see her again. Brian broaches the topic that his dad might have something to do with his mom's death, and Olivia said that she would not be surprised. Brian and Chloe leave, and right after they leave, Simone shows up and seems to think that Chloe and Brian seeing each other provides them with an opportunity. Chloe tells Amy and Paul that her dad's in town and like he set up a rendezvous point, and she's like, I need to go see him. Brian ends up confronting his dad about his mom's death, and he shows Reza the ring, like the engagement ring he found in the storage locker, and he seems genuinely surprised. So clearly the front desker who was tattletaling on Brian was not talking to Reza. I'm going to assume he was probably talking to Simone. Brian confronts his dad about the death. He doesn't really get anywhere with this conversation. Chloe tells her mom that she's still in love with Brian. You know Alec always hanging out on the roof. So of course he's there on the roof of her house and overhears this conversation. She talks to Alec about it, and she's like trying to justify her like decision or whatever. And she actually says, she basically tells him it doesn't matter because she can't be with him anyway, basically saying to Alec that he's her second choice to his face, which additionally, Zane is supposed to be on a date with Jazz, but instead goes to the Pride penthouse and shoots Valentina with poison darts, and then stays there to wait for Jazz to get back so he can get her too. Chloe once again has Brian drive her to like a rendezvous point without telling him any details, and he doesn't care. She tells Brian that she's going to dinner. After being dropped off by Brian, Chloe goes inside this old theater that she used to frequent with her dad when she was a kid. And Brian follows her in there because he basically knows that she's not going to dinner, right? So he follows her. So irritating. I hate him. She goes inside and it's not her dad waiting for her, but instead agents of the order. They fight, and after Chloe beats them, Simone shows up and shoots her 3 times with a real pew pew, down 2 lives because she shot her dead. Like, it was over. Brian finds Chloe dead on the stairs and tells her he loves her, and kisses her when she wakes up. Like, she's coming to consciousness and he kisses her. It might also be a wrap for Brian. Am I saying that that's a good thing? No. But am I moved? No. Paul and Amy, I believe, are lingering outside, and Paul actually sees Simone leaving the scene. Like, he sees her leave the theater where Chloe is inside of. While this is all happening, Jasmine finally returns home. Her and Zane fight, and he stabs her, so she's down too. Like, people are literally dropping left and right in this episode. Valentina down, Chloe down, Jasmine down, Brian down. Alec comes home to see Zane literally standing over Jasmine and Valentina's bodies. And he says, and to me, this is huge, and actually I'm upset about it. They have a confrontation, and Zane said, is that any way to talk to your brother? Like, tell me why I was actually surprised. I was actually surprised. Like, what do you mean this is your brother? Like, oh my gosh, it's giving like they were adopted by different families at birth. Like, I love it. I love it because this is getting into, like, when I say, listen, I may have compared him to Jace earlier just off of looks alone, but it's giving, you were adopted at a young age. You don't know your origins, and maybe you belong to like 3 to 5 different families, and your whole trauma situation is messed up. I love to see it. The season concludes with Brian's grandma Olivia, with the book Hannah Hannity in her hand, the book that Chloe made with her dad. And it's shown that she was pretending to be Chloe's dad this entire time. So as far as we know, we don't know if he's dead, alive, captured. We don't know anything. So it was not him the entire time. Amy and Paul finally get into the theater, and Brian is laying still in Chloe's arms, and the season ends. Now, I enjoyed the finale. I don't think it was as strong as it could have been. It was high tension, I believe, towards the end, but I honestly think all the shenanigans with her going on a road trip with Brian in the last episode, it honestly did not cut it. Like, it was not, for me, was not eating. Like, all the stuff in the last half with like finding out about Brian's grandma and all that stuff, honestly, just instantly take us to them meeting Grandma Olivia and like get right down to it. I don't need that to see them jamming to Brian's old man music in the car. I don't need to see that. Rewatching this show, I had an amazing time. It literally took me back to like being in middle school, like running home from school, like off the bus, and like sitting down on the couch to watch Chloe King, to watch Switched at Birth, if y'all remember that, watching Twisted. Like, I was never a Pretty Little Liars girl. I never watched that. The only Pretty Little Liars content I've seen is Mike's recap of that show, which is honestly enough. Listening to him recap the show was more interesting. But yeah, it just reminded me of like being a kid again, and just like all the stuff that we really enjoyed in the 2010s, like parkour. Like, bitch, they were running and jumping all over the place, and it was like the best thing ever. Now getting into the reason I believe that this show got canceled. If it was not obvious by the way I was talking this entire video, it's Brian's fault. In the year 2011, when the Twilight movies are coming out, when the Vampire Diaries exists, even though there are so many shows I think that were coming out in that time period with very strong love triangles, and honestly, that was part of the reason that they kept viewership for so long, is because some girls was team Damon and some girls was team Stefan. Like, there are still girls on my timeline talking about how Elena should have been with Stefan. To this day, it was that serious, right? And so when you give us a love triangle, you need to give your audiences reasons to like, empathize, and root for both of the love interests. The reason this doesn't work, if you look up any like fan edits fan fiction about the 9 lives of Chloe King, 99.9% of that is about her and Alec. There was no beef, okay? There was no picking sides. It was Alec or nothing. I don't even know if I've viewed with my eyes a Chloe and Brian edit. Nobody liked that man. Like, the love triangle has to be serious, especially with, in this season in particular, how much Brian content we were getting. You have to give your audience a reason to root for this guy. Like, he's spending so much time on screen with our main character. And if I'm spending majority of the time watching this show thinking that I don't want to see this guy on screen, that's a part of the fun with shows like this that have like really intense, like, which I'm supposed to be thinking is a really intense love triangle between these people, is that like, I'm a Stefan hater till the day I die. I still understand why people enjoy Stefan and his character and why they think that Elena should have ended up with him. If you're garnering so much disdain from your audience for one of the main male love interests, and giving them absolutely no reason to like him, then of course the audience is going to patter out, especially when it's such a central plot point of the show. I enjoyed the plot in and of itself, minus the love triangle. I enjoyed the plot, but Brian is a huge part of the plot. He's supposed to tie us into the side with the order, with his father and stuff like that. But if you don't make that part of the show as compelling as it should be, then the audience is not going to stick around. In my mind, not too much, because I love Alec just the way he is, but they should have switched Brian and Alec's archetypes. Like, I think Brian was supposed to give like nice guy on the up and up guy next door who is, like giving her a normal life, right? I think if they made Alec the bodyguard archetype, where he's just like not a flirt, he's just there to do his duty and protect Chloe, and that's it. And like, the girls go crazy for a bodyguard archetype. So that already, you've got a part of the audience in a chokehold. Like, immediately, like, stoic kind of guy who's just here to do his job. Like, yeah, that eats. And then you make Brian like a kind of like a bad boy with trauma, and because Chloe is once again looking for adventure, danger, and intrigue, finds that in Brian's character. They end up doing all sorts of crazy stuff together, and then that also exacerbates the forbidden love portion of their relationship, because that's the draw. Weirdly enough, that's the draw for her and Brian, is the forbidden love aspect, despite the fact that when I was watching this as a kid, mind you, I went crazy for a forbidden love trope. Crazy. It was very much giving, this man is boring anyway, just leave his ass. If you can't be with him, just leave him. Who cares? I don't. Why do you? Right? And so if they had made him like this bad boy with trauma, who like his life is being affected by the order in ways that he doesn't even understand. His mom is dead. Him and Chloe get into crazy shit and they end up in each other's orbit, and the attraction between them is so strong that even like the threat of death is not enough to keep them apart. Like, girl, you would have it. Like, that would be so tea. And then Alec is still on the roof freaking listening to Chloe gab about Brian, but he's just sitting there clenching his jaw, knowing that he just has to sit there and protect her and that he can never be with her. Like, come on. Like, I'm talking about it, I'm like, damn, I actually ate that. They should have done that instead, because honestly, all the parts of this show that I did not enjoy, Brian was involved in. And that can definitely be seen as like a personal thing, like the lens in which I watched the show. But once again, being on Tumblr back in the day, like, I don't know anybody who liked her and Brian. The Brian stans were non-existent, or they were run off the internet. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I think if they had written Brian's character a little better, tried to make him a more sympathetic, like grounded character, because it's just like this guy's just hanging around this girl, and it's like he's just so boring and annoying that, like, what am I supposed to do with that, So honestly, I think that was like kind of what killed the killed the hype in the show because you have this really big character who is a nothing burger. And he's like a central part of the plot, and he spends so much time with the main protagonist. And then every time you see him, you're like, man, get rid of this guy. Who are you? Get rid of him. That's just kind of how I feel. Once again, these are just like my personal opinions. So this has like no basis in any reality or truth or anything. But overall, I just think he was written very bland, especially if you compare him to Alec, who who also is traumatized, has a mysterious past, but I think often is given like better dialogue. Him and Chloe just have more chemistry on screen. I think there's just a little bit more built-in tension in that relationship than the relationship that she has with Brian, whereas like they kind of just meet one time and she's like, oh my God, he's so great. And then the audience doesn't really get to see why he's great, you know? We just see him as this guy who like shows up sometimes. I think if they had given him a little bit more depth and a little bit more personality, they could have locked it in. It would have been Brian v. Alec. It would have been crazy. But it was a missed opportunity, and ultimately I think that's why the writing wasn't strong enough in that aspect to really get it over the finish line. Also, there were just other projects that ABC Family cared about, you know, Secret Circle. Shout out to my girl, also got canceled, but that was a CW show. I'm pretty sure. I have to check, but I'm pretty sure that was a CW show. That one I have particularly strong feelings about because that shit actually got canceled for no reason. So if you want to hear me, actually, if you want to hear me do a video about Secret Circle, because I absolutely will spend 3 weeks rewatching and taking notes on that show just to take us through the entire thing, I absolutely will. But yeah, that's all from me. I just wanted to tell you about one of the shows that I loved as a kid, and I had a great time recapping this with you guys. I will try and film another video as quickly as I am able. And with that, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to go along for some longevity. It has been great talking to y'all, and I will see you later. Bye.